Okay, so December 8th, part two. Sorry, I'm working the desk and someone had come up front, so I had to stop that last one pretty quickly. So again, Ethan Higginbottom has stayed about 7 different days with us. At this point, that's about $1,000. There is potential that we will turn his name and information into PD because it appears we have his accurate information. Where a lot of the other folks, the addresses are no good, the telephone numbers are no good. It's all made up information. In fact, even the names and the email addresses seem completely made up. So if you have a guest who is requesting for somebody else to pay for their room, anything having to do with a credit card authorization that is not directly related to a company, and by company I mean you know with confidence that this is a company that works with us, similar to like our Transwest ones, and those I'm pretty comfortable with. Obviously Halliburton, Vestas, things like that, completely comfortable with those. If it's something that you're not familiar with, share it with me. Even if you're wrong, I can just say, hey, nope, that one's good. Keep it going. But for now, let's assume we are not taking credit card authorization forms for individuals who are not traveling on business. Again, best thing you can do, shoot me a picture of the authorization form or the guest's information before we've gotten the authorization form, and I can tell you if it's on the up and up. In these situations, too, I'd prefer not to refer them to a third party like we sometimes do with folks. The reason for that is that, basically it's fraudulent, and we just don't want these folks at our hotel. So that's that. Well, I've got you. Just kind of funny to say in video, but anyway. A couple more things. I would like to do a complete video on booking the meeting room. I don't necessarily have time right now to do that, so I just wanted to go through some of the basics. For the remainder of 2020, we will be renting the flex room at $50 per day. Whether it's half day or full day, I would like to get a flat $50 per day. Keep in mind when you're posting this in the folio, you're using the posting code for space rental. The reason we use that one is that it is not a taxed code, so we don't want to put it under accommodation charges. We don't want to put the rate in the rate section like we would a normal reservation. We have to post it ourselves and charge it out ourselves on meeting space. So again, the flex room will be renting for $50 per day to the end of the year. Starting in January, so if you have anybody asking ahead of time, we do go back to our original rates. So the flex room would be $125 after that. It is really important that we are getting detailed information on the meetings. So if you're not familiar with the meeting room binder and the list that we fill out, please check with me or keep an eye out, because in the next couple days I'll do a video here that goes over that meeting room log and how we get all the information that we need. Now, if somebody is trying to book the large meeting room, at this point, as slow as we are, I would prefer those folks be referred to me. The reason for that is there's a lot of details that go in with that room. The layout of the room, what electronics they need in there. The pricing is a little bit more dramatic, so it's probably best those come to me for now. Another thing with those is that we are required to follow the health department's and the county's restrictions as far as number of people. So currently in the flex room, I have been allowing up to 10. 10 is a stretch. It should be less than 10 because of distancing, but we haven't had any issues at this point that cause me concern, so we'll keep it that way. If you have people asking questions about the large meeting space, currently we are only permitted to allow up to 10 in there. And it's my understanding that they just extended that to January 7th. Following that, I'm assuming there will still be social distancing protocols into January and February. So I would say let's stick to 30 to 40 people maybe, and those calls can be referred to me. If they're asking for more than 30 or 40 people and it's between now and the end of March, safe time frame, I would ask them to call back when a lot of the COVID restrictions have been released, because we cannot reserve it until the restrictions are released. You can always refer those calls to me as well. With the flex room, if somebody's in-house and they just want to use the space for a little while, I am comfortable with people just using the space at no charge. The big thing is that the desk is responsible for making sure that the space is cleaned up after these folks leave. I have been asking Evelyn to make sure that she's checking, especially the flex room, on her shifts, making sure it's clean. But again, she's only here a few days a week doing that, so it is likely to miss a day or two. And I know, like with Micah Paldino, he usually comes back to back. So if B shift isn't dumping the trash and sanitizing that room once he's left in the afternoon, when he comes back in the morning, good chance the space is dirty, and that really just doesn't make us look good. And I know we definitely have time to do a quick sanitize, a quick clean in there, dump the trash and whatnot. So that is the meeting room. If you have questions, feel free to ask me. Things are ever changing, but hopefully in January things will start to look a little more normal. Next thing is EFS and comm checks. So these are the checks that we're getting from our Transwest guests. Everyone should be familiar with them. If you are not, please come see me. Please ask questions. We have been having so many issues with these, and we shouldn't be. A lot of the issues are coming from folks who have worked with us for a long time, who know how these work. You guys are in charge of making sure they fill it out completely, and you have every right to say this is not filled out properly, I cannot accept it, and don't accept it. Because at this point, we already lost on one. We had one returned. I'm sure the numbers didn't line up right. Something was incorrect. And it isn't even to say that it's fraudulent. It's just if any of the information on there is not correct or not complete, the bank will return it and we automatically lose the money. I will tell you, this isn't that difficult. I've been with the hotels 10 years. We've been accepting EFS checks and comm checks for about 9 of those years, and I have never had them returned until now. So it's something that we're doing now that we were not doing before. You basically need to look at that and make sure that everything is filled out. And that total must be the 112.61 or whatever the multiple nights is. If something were to happen and they were to write that for the wrong amount, for example, we had one for $113, you must post $113 in the folio, and they do not get cash refunded ever. Okay? So if they want to do it wrong and they don't want to write a new one, then you post 113.61, or excuse me, the 113 or whatever the wrong amount is that's on that check, and that is the amount that we're going to collect. So it may be difficult at checkout time because you're going to have to make those numbers balance, and we don't want to show any sort of refund. So we want to call that revenue, basically. So when you get to that point, call me. I'll help you with it. But we do not refund on comm checks, so they should be exact amount all the time. Do not include a deposit on there. We have no way of crediting them for that, and we're basically just ripping them off. We don't want to do that either. So there's really no excuse. This is not a difficult process. Desk agents have been doing it for years, but right now we have so many mistakes with it. You need to get their driver's license number. There's no excuse not to. That is part of your job. You need to make sure they fill it out completely and their totals are correct. I really need you guys to be able, especially when there's only one person on a shift. If you're working a shift, you have to be confident enough to be able to say what is required and what is needed. If you have concerns about this, please let me know. But it's really, really important. Going along with that, there have been way too many situations lately of us losing revenue on rooms. And when I say losing revenue, that's a really nice way of saying the front desk didn't get payment. I don't want to sound like it's all about the money, but I am going to say, respectively, we are a business. You guys are here for paychecks, and we're a business to collect payment so that we can keep that ball rolling. We, at this point in 10 years, have never gone back to a desk agent or someone and said, you were responsible for this payment or this mistake because there was a loss of revenue. However, I will tell you, I have let a lot of people go in previous years for what's happening these days. So it's just not acceptable, and it has to be fixed. And if you do not feel like you are comfortable or confident enough to solve these sort of problems, we need to talk, because you know, if you worked at a restaurant and you let somebody go without paying, you're not going to have a job at the end of the day. So I really, I know we have a great staff, and I know if these things are happening right now, they are just mistakes. There's nothing, you know, that's on purpose or whatnot. So I believe that we can, you know, we can fix it. So definitely, if a credit card rejects, if it's a decline, or somehow it times out, you have to call that guest back and have him come back down and do the credit card again. You need to be verifying guest IDs when they check in, making sure that it's the name on the account. If it is not the name on the account, if it's in a company, it needs to be noted, because there's so much fraud and so much you know, just dishonest and illegal things going on. We really need to keep track of our guests. So again, if you have any questions on that stuff, please let me know. Please make sure that when you're checking in a guest, you really are looking at, okay, are they paid for? Is everything on the up and up? Also, along those lines, same with checking ID when they check in, you want to be getting their phone number and address. I mean, there's just really no excuse for it. This is part of our job. Any other job you go to, you are required to get all the information from folks. We have just really gotten way too lax around here. And I know that everybody on our team is capable of this. So let's start doing it right. Finally, this one's on a much lighter note. I noticed when I came in Monday that the poor cash drawer was completely out of change. And I'm sorry for that you guys, whoever had to deal with that and realize that they had no change to work with. That isn't fair to you guys. However, I could have easily solved this if somebody would have given me a call. I could walk somebody through, you know, getting into the safe or whatnot, or if it's quarters, I can help you find quarters. So things like that, those are those things where you can call me and I can help from a distance. I don't have to come in to help and solve that problem. When Terry and Zeta were both with us, they did have our safe code. We are not that secretive. I mean, there's some folks, if you've only been with us a couple months, maybe I might not be comfortable giving you the safe code, but I certainly have ways of getting you change. This video is getting way too long, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. But keep in mind, I mean, even if you shoot me a text message, if I can't help, maybe I won't respond, or maybe I'll just let you know, hey, I can't help with that right now. But if I can, I absolutely will, especially when it comes to things like that where we can't help our guests and there isn't a simple solution. So that's all I've got. Stay tuned for the meeting room video. Should be out in the next couple days. Thanks.